Excuse me. If you're lacking self-love, you're lacking the presence of God. I repeat, if you're lacking self-love, you're lacking the presence of God. I repeat, this is an alarm. Y'all are dangerous. Like dangerous. If you're lacking self-love, you're lacking the presence of God. If you're lacking control of what you're eating, you're lacking the presence of God. If you're lacking control in what you're thinking, you're lacking the presence of self-love. Because everything you think gets added onto your DNA. Everything you believe gets added onto your DNA. Everything you eat gets added onto your DNA. All the air that you breathe, you gets added onto your DNA. So when you go to have kids, when your parents went to have you, when your parents thought about having you, whoever you is, I don't care if your mama got raped. I don't care. You're lacking self-love. You're lacking genes in your DNA. They have been changed over. You were born into sin. Now, what are you going to do about it? You were born into sin. Sin. Now, what are you going to do about it? The most dangerous thing you could do consistently is eat meat. The most dangerous thing you could do consistently is not watch your diet. The most dangerous thing you can do consistently is not love yourself. The most dangerous thing you can do consistently is not love God. The most dangerous thing you can do consistently is to not love the universe. Not loving the universe is like not loving your creator. Yes, I said the universe. Multiple dimensions. If you're not multidimensional, stop talking to me. Don't talk to me. If you're not vegan, don't talk to me. Your breath stink. If you're not vegan, don't talk to me. If you're not vegan, don't talk to me. Your breath stink. Your vagina stinks. Your armpit stinks. Your butthole stinks. If you're not vegan, don't talk to me. If you don't love yourself, don't talk to me. If you don't love the universe, don't talk to me. I don't know you. I don't want to know you. You're possessed. Quit your diet. You're going to die. Quit your diet. You're going to die. Stop eating meat. Ye flesh, flesh of my flesh. Why am I gonna put something dead in my body? And I'm alive. I'm alive. Why am I eating the dead? I'm alive. Why am I eating the dead? Ye flesh, flesh of my flesh. You're a walking cemetery. You stink. If you're not a vegan, don't talk to me. Ye flesh, flesh of my flesh. All flesh is flesh of God's flesh. All things allowed to exist have to have love. Everything that's allowed to exist has to have love. Everything that does exist, created under the love of God's manifestation. God manifested all of this. If you have no connection with God, you have no manifestation powers. You can't snap your fingers and get a new car. You can't snap your fingers and get a new house. You can't snap your fingers and live a whole new lifestyle. You can't snap your fingers and live in a different city. You can't snap your fingers and all your debt magically disappear. You can't snap your fingers and have a new number in your bank account. Because you don't have no connection with God. Because you don't know about manifestation. Because you don't know what real love is. If you're not vegan, don't talk to me. Don't even comment. Unsubscribe. If you're not vegan, unsubscribe. If you are not vegan, unsubscribe. You don't even deserve to subscribe to my page. Why do you still watch me? Leave the video. You lack self-love. I like angels. I'm friends with angels. I'm cool with the angels. The ones who haven't fallen. The ones who don't plan on ever falling. The ones who have already failed and will drop everything they doing right now to get back up. The ones who gonna die about their love for God. The ones who will jump off a bridge when they feel the presence of God, if God was to ask them to do so. Some of y'all are so attached to y'all temples and don't know what your temple is. You said yes to a losing position before you knew what losing and winning was. You said yes to false valuations before you knew what a real valuation was. You said yes to living wrong before you knew what it was to live right. You said yes to everybody who told you no before you found out what yes was. You said yes to everybody who told you no before you found out you had the option to say yes. You said no to everybody who told you yes before you had the... I think you get my point. I think you get my point. Pinpoint defeats all. Pinpoint defeats all. Pinpoint. You can't pinpoint it. Shut up talking to me. You have no detail. You have no divinity. You're not profound in the way you speak. Shut up talking to me. Go do some research. You can't live your life and lack self-love. You can't live your life and lack the presence of God. You will never, ever be where you want to be. You will never, ever live the life you want to live. You will never, ever stop having the desire to struggle. You like being where you at. You enjoy it. Your mama where you at. Your daddy where you at. All y'all want to get out. But all y'all not making the sacrifices. So as soon as one person jump up and say they want to go do something to change the world, to change the world, all the other crowds pull you back in a bucket. So now you trying to go out and change the world, and all these other crowds keep trying to pull you back in a bucket. I don't want the bucket. The bucket is for the sea, and you can't even see because you stuck in a bucket. I can see that I'm headed to the ocean. I can see that I'm connected to the ocean. I don't want the bucket. Don't pull me back to where you going. I'm not going over there. I'm making a change. Why I'ma live like you live and you not making a change? Why I'ma live like you live and you don't even like your life? Why I'ma do what you doing when you don't enjoy what you do? Talk to your parents about self-love and see what they tell you. Ask your mama, ask your brother, ask your sister something about self-love and see what they tell you. Self-love is connecting your consciousness to your temple to get the presence of God that you've never had. To get the presence of God that you once had when you was in the womb. When you was fresh out the vagina. First breath into the world, one of them breaths. You hear me? One of them. Yeah. One of them, bro. Fresh out. That love energy, that life energy. Nobody had to tell you to love somebody. Nobody had to tell you to hug your mama. Nobody had to tell you to suck up breastises. But the problem comes in where she don't know the power that her breastises got. She think the best thing she could do with her breastises is get some money out of them. Now we know where that money taking you. Because when you got a connection with God, when you got that connection with God, when you got that self-love, it's gonna happen by itself. You barely gotta ask. You hear me? When you really connected with God, you barely gotta ask. You barely gotta put your foot out there. When you don't have that, you gotta put your neck out there. You gotta put your neck out there. You hear? Let me turn it. You gotta put your neck out there when you don't have self-love, when you don't have God. Because you're gonna die about it. Because you don't know how powerful your soul is. You think your life is your soul. You think your life is your soul. That's why a lot of y'all ain't got one. You gave it away to keep your life and lost your soul. You traded your soul for some guacamole, for some moolah, for some money. And you don't even know what money is. You just straight up traded it for some cash, for a fictional number in your bank account. So you wouldn't go homeless. So you can eat tonight. You niggas is sick. You're sick. You're sick. You can't tell me that you don't have family popping prescription pills. You can't tell me that you don't have family that's not sick. You can't tell me that you don't know nobody in your family who haven't been to the doctor within the past 2 years, within the past 5 years, within the past 10 years, who haven't been to the doctor, who haven't got a real checkup. A real checkup. The only checkup you could do is with God. But you know what you need for that? You know what you need? You know what you need? Self-love. You know what else you need? You know what else you need? Self-love. You thought I was going to say something else. No, self-love is all you need. Self-love is all you need. That's your connection with God. That's your connection with the universe. It's self-love. But if you don't know who you are, you have no connection. Because you got all this energy. You got so many places you could plug in. You got so many places where you can add something. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. I could do you. Literally, do you. Self-love is your only way out. Self-love is your only way out. I'm spitting gold. Self-love is your only way out. I don't think somebody heard me. Somebody kids listening, somebody mama listening, somebody grandma listening, somebody cousin listening. I'm gonna say it again to make sure they hear me. Everybody else who heard me, I don't know if you was listening or not. It don't matter if you heard me if you're not listening. Cause hearing is just like a loop. But once you listening, you be in that loop into your brain, and then it comes back out your ear. So you hear it twice and you listen to it once. Once you listen to it, not only do you give love to it, you spend time with it. It's an experience. You hear me or you listening? It's an experience. It goes in one ear and it goes all through your consciousness. And then it come out the other. Because you listen to it. If you are hearing it, it just goes in one ear and out the other. Because you was hearing it. Your subconscious mind might have caught it. But your subconscious mind don't care about what the conscious mind got going on. Because you don't know how to harmonize with your temple. Self-love is your only way out. Self-love is your only way out. I don't know if y'all seen him or not. That's a man of God. You can't tell me that he don't love himself. He out here on the block. Cockrell Hill Road. Look it up. Cockrell Hill Road. Burger King. Yeah. Self-love is your only way out. Dude love himself. That's the only way you can be out here this cold and not be bothered. That's the only way you can be out here this cold and not care. Not even just like, he's on the block. He's on the block, getting the bag, paying bills, getting something to eat. And you worry about your job at McDonald's. I put up $1,000. I put up $1,000 right now for anybody who work at McDonald's think they making more than him. For anybody who work at one of these little fast food joints thinking they making more than him. That nigga out there all day, 25/8. I could come back at 3 in the morning. This nigga is still gonna be on the block. And you gonna tell me he don't got no self-love? You gonna tell me he not a man of God? You crazy. What drugs you been smoking? I want some of that. Give me some of that. What you all for? I want some of that. Give me some of that. Get me off of whatever you off of, because you're big delusional. You think you're making more money than somebody who's outside 24/7? What kind of job you working? Show me. Show me. Because you probably begging your boss for more hours. You probably begging your boss for a bonus. You weren't meant to have a job. You were meant to create something. So every time you don't create nothing, you fall lackluster. A job becomes necessary. Because you couldn't teach yourself to be a middleman enough to where you wouldn't need something or somebody else externally. You couldn't teach yourself to be a middleman enough where you can make your own decisions. You couldn't teach yourself to be a middleman where not only you had financial literacy, but you had self-love. You had the presence of God continuously. Somebody cross off, write down self-love for me, please. Write down self-love. Continuous self-love. Everlasting self-love. I love myself. I hug myself. I kiss myself. I show myself affection. I believe in my temple. I praise my temple. I bless my temple. I'm more. My temple, more. Me, more. I don't even like saying blessed, because inside the word, it's teaching you to be blessed. It's too many spellcasters out here. There's too many witches and witches and warlocks out here. I love myself. I hug myself. I kiss myself. I love you. I love you too. Love your temple. You only have one of them. A lot of y'all got multiple lives. If I told you only had one life, I would be a liar. Love yourself. Love your temple. Love. And that's when you'll begin to love God.